Hi there, Wes Moss here, and an urgent message for business owners as the Paycheck Protection Program, or the PPP loans, are brand new and they're starting in earnest. And I want to make sure you understand this. There's so many questions around this. And by the way, this is Cody in the background here who's just hanging out with me. I'm working at home, just like everybody in America, but I'm a small business owner, capital investment advisors, but there are 30 million small business owners in America. 24 million of you are solo entrepreneurs, single member LLCs, 1099 contractors, gig workers included in this bill. So if you think, oh, I'm not a small business is 20, 30, 40 people. No, that's not true. Yes, it is true, but the legislation for the CARES Act, which is the Coronavirus Aid Act, it's a $2 trillion stimulus that we all have heard of by now. $349 billion of it is meant for you, the small business owner. Yes, some of those are any business under 500 or under 500 employees, but 24 million of the 30 million small businesses in America are solo operated businesses called non-employer businesses. And I've talked to, and the reason I want to do this video is that I've talked to too many folks that are either 1099s or let's say they're in real estate and they work for themselves for the most part. I've talked to a commercial photographer who is a client of mine who makes a great living, but was thinking, well, it's just me. Do I really qualify for these PPP loans? And the answer is yes. And that's, I think there's some confusion around this. So I want to make sure we understand as small business owners, which again, 30 million people, 24 million of those 30 million, they're solo enterprises, that you should apply for, if you need it, obviously, these PPP loans. So the rules are under 500 employees, up to $10 million. Obviously, a lot of these loans will be much smaller than that. But the reality here is that you can take your payroll and your main expenses, think rents, utilities, healthcare benefits, take your average month times 2.5, so 2.5. So if your average payroll plus operating the business, rent, all these things is $100,000, then the loan, you qualify up to 2.5 times that, so $250,000. If you are able, the spirit of the plan is to keep your employees on the payroll. We care about our employees more than anything in the world as small business owners. So if you keep your employees on the payroll through the covered period, the next 8 weeks once you get the loan, then the loan is forgivable. So you can get the entire amount forgiven. Now, even if you have laid people off between all the way up to April 26th, you have until June 30th to hire them back. Now, the spirit of this is not to just hire everybody back on June 29th and still get the loan forgiven. The reality here is you have to be able to spend that money, those loan proceeds, on keeping people on the payroll. And then the SBA and the Treasury that are doing these small business loans are technically 7A small business loans under the Paycheck Protection Program. The loans will be forgiven. So the loans are up to $10 million, and they can be obviously a few $1,000s depending on your monthly payroll. Now, what about, let's say, a real estate agent, or I talked to a nurse anesthetist the other day who's, again, a 1099 contractor. They're their own business owner. Some people that just have income show up on their Schedule C, on their taxes. You count. You're part of this legislation. Now, remember, to get the loan, they're capped. Each employee's salary is capped at $100,000 as far as qualifying. So if somebody makes $200, it's only the first $100 that counts towards these loans. But the same goes if you're a single member LLC or you're a contractor, real estate agent. Let's say you made $200,000. Well, the first 100 counts. If you do the math on that, on average, that's $88,333 a month times 2.5. You would end up potentially qualifying for up to $20,833. That's how the math works here if you're making over $100,000. So there's a lot to think about. I think the reality here is that more of us qualify than maybe had thought. The next part is, how do I access this? Well, the SBA and the Treasury didn't intend you to just all go directly to the SBA. Millions of people can't just filter through one place. We need to use the existing network of financial advisors, bankers, loan-oriented relationships that we already have. There are about 1,800 approved small business lenders, and then there's 3,400 community banks. That network of 5,000 plus banks, that's what the SBA and the Treasury want you to use. So if you have an existing relationship with a banker, that's who you want to go to help you facilitate these loans. So use your existing relationships to be able to facilitate these loans. The program is brand new. There's going to be a stampede of people that are asking to qualify. I just don't want business owners to wake up in 2 or 3 weeks and say, oh, wait a minute, I didn't hear about these PPP loans. I should have applied. That's why I'm doing this video. So send this to your business owner friends. If you're not a business owner and you're just watching the Money Matters channel, then I want you to please forward this to your business owner friends, people that are 1099 contractors, solopreneurs. This is the most critical time ever to understand the CARES Act, and particularly what it means for small business owners. Again, $2 trillion on the CARES Act. It is meant to bridge this economy over the next couple months while we're in a state of hibernation or medically induced coma, why we fight against COVID-19. Social distancing works, that's the good news. The bad news is social distancing keeps a lot of businesses without revenue for a period of time. So yes, there are some businesses, I call it green light, yellow light, red light. Some, if you're in the green light, you're making toilet paper or face masks. You may not need a loan, or you probably don't need a loan. The yellow light companies are those who are seeing a revenue decline dramatically that might otherwise lay people off. PPP loans say, hey, wait a minute, no. We're here to support you to make sure that you keep your full-time employees. There you go, Cody. Whoa. So with that, this is the whole point is to keep your people on the payroll by June 30th, so that or the end of the 2-week period, or sorry, 2-month period, so that these loans are forgiven. That is the point of the program. The spirit is to keep us employed in America, so that we don't have to have a ton of layoffs and then have to hire people back. So I just urge you to understand this bill. Don't let this legislation pass you by without understanding it. Forward it to your friends. Take advantage of it. It is it may be critical for not only your business, your employees, but the United States economy as a whole to get through this. So we're unified together here as business owners. Let's share this information with our friends. Let's get out there and make sure that these loans work to keep this economy. And Cody's telling me it's time to go. So if you have questions about this, I've got information on my website, wesmoss.com, about the PPP loans. You can email us directly through wesmoss.com. Happy to answer your questions. We have an entire task force at my firm to answer CARES Act questions. We call it our task force CAST, the CARES Act Stimulus Task Force, and we're answering hundreds of questions about this. So use us as a resource. Happy to help. Stay healthy. Let's keep our people. Let's keep America employed until we can reopen America as soon as humanly possible.